I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the pre-seed MVP is done. It's dead. We should have a funeral for it. As of 2025, the pre-seed MVP is not working as intended as we expect. MVP stands for minimal viable product. It's a very popular concept. If you've been around startups long enough, you've heard of it many, many times. And I'm not saying that MVPs are going away altogether. They're not going to disappear. But if you are trying to raise pre-seed funding, especially with AI in 2026, you have to take this seriously. Put MVPs as you know it right now out of your mind, and we need to talk about this. I'm a 7-time funded founder with 2 exits. I've raised over $100 million from my startups, other people's startups, as well as startup funds. I'm also the chief strategy officer for startups.com, where I've worked with the team that has helped startups raise over $750 million, which have gone on to go raise billions more by going public. If you want me as your advisor, I have a special offer for you. Stay till the end of the video and I'll explain how. In this video, I'm going to be proposing to you a mindset shift from just an MVP to adding FMMBM. Don't worry, I know it's a lot, it's a mouthful right now, but basically it just stands for the fastest, minimally monetized business model. That's what's going to set you apart. And remember, it's not just about building an MVP, it's about how do you get your MVP funded, your startup, how do you get investors interested to trust you with their money at an early stage? That's what we're focusing on. Let me double click on this. This deserves a little extra attention. I'm not saying don't build MVPs. The concept of building a minimally viable product, in other words, what is the minimum amount of resources that we can expend building some type of product that maybe you go out and demo or you show traction to attract investors, especially first customers. I'm all about that. I'm not here to redefine MVPs. In fact, that kind of drives me nuts. That's not me. And while I have a lot of content on my channel about how to raise funding for an early stage startup without traction, even before an MVP, I'm talking about going to the next level because I'm watching so many founders right now in 2025 unable to raise with their MVPs. This is just the reality of the market we're in right now. We don't have the froth of a zero interest rate policy environment. We're not in ZERP anymore. There's a new normal. And I'm talking about if you want to differentiate yourself and stand apart from the other founders competing for the limited funding, the limited number of checks from those investors, you have to be paying attention to this. An MVP is the minimum standard. It is the foundation. I'm talking about going one level up and setting yourself apart. And if that's not interesting to you, well then this video, the rest of it is going to completely frustrate you. You have been warned. Which brings us back to my next warning. Here is a comment that I saw posted on another startup YouTuber creator's video about the same type of topic. This is not my video, but another one, and it said, build an MVP, build no MVP, do this, do that, build a funnel, make a plan, don't plan, set goals, just do it, blah, blah. My advice to all people out there, stop consuming business content on YouTube. It's entertainment and will make you crazy. Just follow your own plan, build your own path. It's important to acknowledge comments like this, as I always try to do. I'm going to break this down a bit, but it's worthwhile diving in just a little bit because it pertains to this particular topic. I don't mind the part of this comment that says, my advice to all people out there, stop consuming business content on YouTube. It's entertainment and will drive you crazy. If you ever find yourself watching my content just for entertainment, whether I'm entertaining or not, that's not my intention, but maybe indirectly I come across this entertaining to you, and you don't go out and actually do something, work on your startup, then you should be running in the other direction and you should never watch another video that I put out ever again. You do not want to be guilty of becoming a wantrepreneur, an entrepreneur that just wants to be one, but ingests all this content. You spend all this time thinking and learning, maybe talking about becoming an entrepreneur, and you actually don't go out and do anything. That is not the intention whatsoever. And that's why I totally want to reaffirm the sentiment that you should stop ingesting content just for entertainment or being a wantrepreneur and go out and do something. Build your own thing. Build your own path. The fact is, you are responsible, only you. You are solely responsible for your entrepreneurial journey as a founder. Startups are infinitely harder than any other type of business, and I will stand to this till the end of my days, I will defend it. I will die on this hill, because startups, if you're truly doing what a startup is intended to do, a hyper growth innovation that disrupts something that's maybe underserved, underestimated, and underrepresented. You're solving problems, working on solutions that nobody's seen before, working with people you've never worked with before, and probably solving the problems that nobody thought there was a solution for, with customers that you've never talked to before. You're talking about creating a new market. That is really difficult. Therefore, if you are doing it right, you have built your own path. You found your own way, because that is the innovative differentiator. That's what sets you apart. And I fully endorse comments like this. What I take exception to are the comments that followed this one. There was so much crying and gnashing of teeth, blaming the creator and saying, oh, you're just fear mongering. You're trying to take advantage of us. A lot of victimhood, saying we can't do this. And that's where I draw the line. You don't have to be a victim. You can move into action orientation. Instead of action faking, you can do something with all this information instead of arguing about it online. And unfortunately, this creator kind of got sucked in and started arguing with the trolls and the haters that piled on. And I just think that we can be above it here, especially here on this channel. And that's why I have this massive big disclaimer here. This is, in my humble opinion, only. And I always say that half of my advice is solid gold. I'm the best advisor in the world. I just don't know which half is going to work for you. You have to take everything I say with a huge heaping grain of salt, put it in your toolkit, try it yourself, do it your own way, add your own spin to it, and then let me know, because I could be learning from you. We can all learn from each other. But I happen to have experience and principles, not to tell you what to do, but what to avoid, so that you can accelerate your growth. That's why I say on this channel, even though I'm a 7-time funded founder with 2 exits, that's just a fancy way of saying I failed a bunch of times to your benefit, because I'm going to use YouTube videos like this to try and help you avoid some of the catastrophic mistakes that I've made. It's not to say you're not going to make mistakes, but it's hard enough as it is, so I might as well make your life a little bit easier. But the fact of the matter is, you have to find your own path and set yourself apart, because that's what startup founders do. That's the nature of startups. So enough fanfare and setup. Let's get into the FMMBM. And we're talking about you need to be the fastest. The single greatest competitive advantage that you have beginning your startup, as well as what other investors are looking for, is how fast can you move. You might not have the funding, you might not have the resources, you might be looking for co-founders, partners, your first customers, but if you can start moving faster than other people, you will get the attention of investors. That is the single point of entry that will give you an even playing field. Anybody can move fast no matter what the resources are. And if you're waiting for an investor to give you resources so you even begin doing something, you are never going to raise, especially from 2025, where it's become so much easier to set something up and get to market faster. Investors want to see this from you in 2026 and beyond. So start thinking this has to be fast. Then what has to be fast? What do you need to be doing faster than others? Other than building an MVP, you're talking about minimally monetizing. That means talking to customers and figuring out how to sell something even before something's built. That's how you go fast, because development takes time. Even if you're using vibe coding, the tools out there, it's getting faster and faster, which is fantastic. You can go experiment with 10 different types of MVPs, all that you want, even before you get a single dime. But even faster is what investors are looking for. They need you to monetize, and that's going to set you apart, because as you monetize and as you begin to sell, you are going to be creating a business model. Let's look at this all together. You want to be the fastest, minimally monetized business model out there, because anybody can build a feature, anybody can build a product that can be later cloned, that can be taken over by these big incumbents. A big company can say, wow, that was a great idea. We see the value in that. Let's just pop in $30 million and come eat your lunch, blow you out of the water. That can happen. In fact, that happened to me with OpenAI. I started working on a startup that I thought, man, this is going to be a really great thing that everybody's going to use. And OpenAI thought, yeah, that's a really great idea. And literally months later, they launched their custom GPT marketplace, and all my investment was sunk. I stopped working on the project. Let me give you 2 prime examples that I explored just recently. One was video editing. I'm a creator. I want to edit my videos as quick as possible. And there are all these tools that came out for video editing, where take a long form video and then cut it down and recommend a video clip, make that clip for you in all different types of format, and bang, you've got a short form video out there repurposing a long form video. And a lot of AI companies raised significant amounts of money. I know some of the founders that have done this to start establishing that, and they're out there. Until YouTube comes comes along and says that's a great idea, and I saw an announcement from YouTube the other day saying we're now going to make a clip recommender, and it's only a matter of time before you can integrate all the generative AI features that YouTube's coming out with, that Google's working on. You are talking about a mass extinction event for all those startups that raised funding for that feature, the feature of doing video shorts as quick as possible with AI, unless you have a monetized business model. Let me give you another example. At startups.com, I have dozens of founders coming and working on the same idea, and many of them think they're the only ones working on that idea, when truthfully they might be doing it differently, but I can throw a rock and hit about a dozen founders trying to solve the same problem. One of the problems that they're trying to solve is business intelligence and digital transformation, cultural transformation, organizational development. And they think to themselves, yeah, I'm going to build a SaaS platform using AI that helps companies make decisions on how to grow, strategically change, how to develop, how to evolve, pass competition, make better decisions. And that's great. The issue is there are a lot of companies that say, okay, I'm going to try and solve that problem. There are a lot of companies already solving that problem. But guess who has an entrenched business model that just released a set of tools? Box, online cloud storage. They've got all your data and all your information. So of course, they can basically just read all your files. You're storing them with Box already and make recommendations on here are the things that you should do. Simple as that. While you're moving all your files around in Box and you're managing your file folders, what stops them from just recommending decisions, saying, hey, we noticed this, we noticed that, we recommend that. Do you want a plan? Box already has a monetized business model that is operating like a moat. So what is your moat? It needs to be speed, and it needs to be monetizing as fast as possible, so that whether or not another AI company or another startup starts copying your features and basically says, hey, this LLM gave us the opportunity to do this, we think it's a good idea, you've already got customers, you're already monetizing. And I'm not talking about selling the product either. I'm figuring out how to get creative, and maybe you're consulting, maybe you've got them reserved, you're doing pilots with them, you're monetizing and getting them to put their money on the line. As you work through this process, you will realize you may not even need the type of MVP that you are trying to raise funding for. Remember, I'm setting you apart in raising funding. Instead, as you go out and talk to and maybe start to do some demos, start to do some pitches about what you intend to build, you will start getting commitments, and then a business model will start to form because you're getting customer discovery, idea validation, demand discovery. You are figuring out the context in which they make the business decisions, and they will start spending money with you in the future and hopefully commit up front, and that will prevent you from getting into the spot where you've built something, you put it out there, nobody cares, and now you've wasted all the time. You start pivoting, adding more features because somebody made a comment to you, and then you've got this Frankenstein conglomeration that you have no idea how to get to market, and the investors are confused and they're not interested. Meanwhile, you're out of runway, you have 3 months left, and that's a big red flag for investors as well. I could talk about the dozens of factors that are going to prevent you from raising pre-seed funding, especially from now into 2026. Think about it in terms of your future investment into yourself, into your startup, so you don't waste time and you especially don't waste your resources. Here's one more big advantage to doing it this way. If you monetize something, let's say you go out and you sell it bespoke consulting, and you're doing 90% of it is by hand, manual consulting, and you're slowly incorporating 10% of AI tools to do that, investors are going to see that you are extending your runway and that you are a founder that will do what it takes to manage your resources, not run out of money. You won't come across as that desperate founder saying, I can't do anything without your funds. And the investor is going to say, well, that's what I'm expecting you to do. All our founders are exceptional. They show us what they can do without their money. If you're the founder that has done it faster than other people, you saw a gap in the marketplace and you punched through it as fast as possible because of how unique you are in terms of your unique value proposition, and you know how to get out there proving founder market fit, you're solving the problem, but talking to the market and selling it, that investor is going to have so much more confidence that you are going to steward their money properly, that you can be trusted, because when people get desperate, especially founders, they make bad decisions with investors' money, and that is not a good look for you, and that makes the investor resent you or start to doubt you, erodes trust, and you're not going to be able to raise subsequent rounds, let alone get out of the starting gate and start making real money to get on that path of profitability that investors are looking for. What does this look like for you? I just spent a whole front part of this video saying I don't know. It's going to be uniquely you. Build your own path. Do what you do best within your context. Build the unicorn. YO unicorn, not a unicorn with a U that's beholden to investors where they're determining your destiny and what to do. Be a YO unicorn and you're going to be just fine. Eventually, money's going to come find you. You're going to be monetizing. You'll have differentiation. You'll have defensibility starting to form because you have a unique business model. Investors are going to recognize that and say, hey, all these other founders are just building tools, building products and features that eventually will just get enveloped. You've got an actual business model that you've shown can monetize. How about you take my money? You're the better bet. Which brings me to my offer. Let's do it together. I want to hear from you. Come join me for 2 weeks, 14 days at startups.com. Let me be your advisor. I have a code in the description of this video. I'll put it in the comments as well, saying come and join me and spend 14 days and let's figure out how to do the fastest minimally monetized business model for you. And if after that you just move on and you can say, I'm a better founder after spending 14 days with Ed. This is not clickbait. I'm not trying to rug pull you. This is not a bait and switch to try and convert you. This is legitimately me wanting to help you and offering you to take me up and challenge me and say, hey, I want to do this with you. Let's have this conversation, mention this video, and we'll work on what you're doing in terms of building your MVP in a way that can raise pre-seed funding optimally, easier, 10x easier than other founders that I'm watching right now that are absolutely struggling, and I don't want you to go through it. So if I can save you a little bit of pain and you spend 14 days with me, trust me with your 14 days, and I will give you as much as I possibly can. And if we never talk to each other after that, then we're going to be just fine. And maybe in the future, you're going to say, I got better information from Ed for free than I would have paid for somewhere else, and you're a millionaire, and you just feel guilty, and you write me a check. How about we make that deal? If you stay at startups.com, I'll introduce you to the more community and all the other resources. But in the meantime, let's not worry about that. Come join me, check the comments, and take me up on my offer. Watch some of the other videos that I put on the screen. In the meantime, let me know what you're thinking. Let's have an interactive dialogue. And thank you very much for spending time with me, listening to me. I appreciate your support. I'll see you in the next video.